Hey everybody, it's Martha. Welcome to my Shabby Craft Studio. Please excuse my voice and my sinuses today. Can't guarantee I won't cough or sneeze. We spent yesterday with the screen door open, well, the sliding glass door open with the screen on, and it was extremely humid, and little did I know that ragweed is really high here, and apparently it was either the humidity, the ragweed, or both that didn't agree with me, and my sinuses started blowing up last night, and here I am. So if I clear my throat a lot, I apologize. If I have to take drinks, I apologize. I do have my tea here in a closed glass. And I may have to sneeze somewhere along the way. Who knows? Anywho's, today we're going to work on this. And I did this a couple days ago. I saw a few different people do this a few different ways, and I can't remember exactly who, although I know I have watched Andrea do this similar project, or method, I should say. And I saw somebody recently do it, and for my life, I can't find the video. So I'm sure it's out there. I would give credit, if I can find it, where credit's due, as I always try to, because I appreciate everybody sharing their methods and us being able to do them in our own way afterwards. So what I did was I had some white cardstock strips left over, and that's going to throw the camera color all off now. So what I did was I used my inks, my distress inks, not oxides, the ink. I have all these mini ones that I had bought when I first started, and I used two different methods to get the background effects, and then I used stamps on top of that. And as you can see, some of them came out really, really nice. Like this one's pretty good. This one's pretty good. This one's lovely. This one came out okay. This one came out really well. And then there's these that didn't come out so well. They're very hard to see. They're very mottled. Love the background colors, but don't love the stamps on top of them. I love this one, except it's just, there's too much going on in the background, I think. I don't know if that shows up on camera, but it shows up to me. And as you can see, this is white cardstock, but it sure doesn't look like it from this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to play, and I'm going to show you what I learned. This one came out well, although I wish the flower wasn't green, but but anyway. So what we're going to do is play, and I'm going to show you a little of what I learned, how to go from something like this, or this, or this, and then, I did these first, so that's why they didn't, it's learning. It's a learning process. And I didn't see the method explained anywhere else. So the method of how not to get it too blotchy. Now, of course, everybody knows if you mix colors, they become muddy. That's not exactly what happened here. The reason this is brown is because I used, dark ink. So, what I learned was simple is better, less colors is better, and there's different ways to do that. So, the two methods I learned, and I have to put my messy sheet here. I know it's sort of hard to see. I mean, I could pull out a better sheet, but don't have one right at the moment. So we're just going to go with it. Now this is cream colored cardstock. Just found this in my cardstock leftovers. And then this is a strip of white cardstock. So you can definitely see the difference. Well, actually, let's stick with the original thing first. All right, I'm going to use this piece of cardstock. I started to cut it down, which is where this piece came from, because you could do it either way. You can pre-cut your strips and then color them so you have different colors, or you can do it on one big piece whichever you find easier for you. I think really I'd probably find the separate strips easier, because then I could use different colors, but not all on one piece of paper, because that's when you run into trouble. The other thing is, I am not using a jelly plate, so it's sort of like mono printing. I'm not looking for any patterns or anything today, although you could do the whole pattern thing. So I think these show up on this background. This is a large block. This is as big as my hand. This is a medium block here. This is a smaller square block, and that's the smallest square block. I also have a long rectangle block, which would work on this strip actually. And get that out. So I have this. Now this one has, you can feel the grids on this side, and we can play with that and see what happens. But anyway, this would probably, yep, that just about fits on there. So we'll start with this block. So whatever acrylic block you have to put your stamps on, that's what these are for. Now these have grids on them, but you can't feel them. They're inside the plastic, I think, or, well, you can sort of feel it. Not a whole lot. All right. You also need a mister spray bottle-y kind of thing. Now, this is how I started, and I liked some of the effect, but the other effect is also fun. Also, just to mention, I will have to use a heat gun in the process here, because you do have to dry in between. Now, what I'm going to do is several at once, and I may shut the camera off and do the heat gun. So quit blathering, Martha, and get on with it. Alrighty. And I did try this with Distress Oxides, and it did not work. I do recommend using the Distress inks. So one method is to just run your ink pad along the acrylic block and then just set it down. Now, I love that. Okay. Now you would let this dry in between before doing the next color. And I'm just trying to get all of the color off. And then, you know, a paper towel nearby is good too. Okay. And y'all know these are ink. These inks are water activated. Okay. So at this point, I could spray this and, you know, let it run or whatever, but I don't want to. I'm going to leave it just like that. So what I'm going to do, I think I am going to cut these into strips, because honestly, I think it's a really good, this one I'll make 2 inches. That one was an inch strip. Uh-oh. Come on. And then I think I'll do 1.5 inches. Different stamps I have will fit on different size strips, so there you go. All right. So I did a couple 2-inch and a couple 1-inch, or several 1-inch. All right. So then, different color. I think I will do this. This is, oh, the first one I used was mustard seed. That was mustard seed. And this one is mowed lawn. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, where's that? Let me see. Okay, this is a side with a grid on it. I don't know the grid's going to make any difference. We'll see. And, ooh, it does. Ooh, look at that. Ah! So you can take advantage of the grid and have it show up. You can slide it and get different splotches. And it sort of helps use the ink that's on there. Can you see the grid? So that's the only, this is the only acrylic block I have with the grid on it, but the grid did show up. That's fun. Okay, I'm putting that aside to dry. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, and there's still ink. See the green tinge on here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the top of it. Well, I'm going to spray it all. And now it's really wet. Okay. And then we're going to turn it over and we're going to put it down. And then you get the painted effect, which is also really fun. So I just sent my husband out shopping and he should be gone for at least 2 hours, I think. So I'm hoping to get a lot done today here. Maybe 2 videos if I'm lucky. There. So that's the effect I get when I ink the acrylic block and then wet it. So I hope you can see. Right? So set that one aside to dry. Now those especially, you really have to dry them off before doing another color, because if you don't, you get mud. You really do. All right, let's do some pretty... I only have these in blues and purples and a pink. So I need to write these down and then find some more, I think. All right, so I'm going to do, let's do the grid side again. Now I can feel that's the grid side. All right. And then I'm going to spray my paper. Now, I didn't try this the other day. Okay. Oh, that's fun. Now, that's kind of a combination of the wet and the dry method. So you still get the kind of spotty. I'm going to bring you in a little bit. And turn you that way. Tilt ya. Okay. Fun, fun, fun. Is that not fun or what? And then I'm going to take my chances. And I'm going to do a... I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. Okay. I'm using Shaded Lilac. And this one, I forgot to tell you, is Evergreen Bow. It's not as green as you would think it would be for Evergreen Bow. Now, my block is still wet from pressing down on the wet paper. So, as you can see, it mottled the ink. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. Woohoo! I love this. That's going to make a really pretty background. But as you can see, I'm starting to mix colors. I'm not sure that's a good idea. All right, I'm just going to stick with the purple. That's what happens. I get busy on the colors, and then I get in trouble. Because then... And you can also turn the paper upside down and get just the parts you want on the ink that's left on the block. So this is sort of kind of like a fake jelly printing kind of thing, sort of kind of. And I'm sure you could do this, like if I use my big acrylic block, I could put a stencil on there. I'm sure I could use acrylic paints on here. So if you don't have a gel plate, play with your acrylic blocks if you have a big one. And I had these left over from my card making days, these blocks. So I can't even tell you. This one is actually We Are Memory Keepers. There it is. We Are Memory Keepers one. There it is. So I like that. Okay. So this one's dry enough. I could play with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the smaller block. And what do I want with the green? Maybe, and I'm only going to do 2 colors. Because, you know, maybe I'll try this one. This is Peacock Feathers. I'm dying to get Salty Ocean and the speckled egg ones because I've seen others use those and they sure are pretty. Okay, so I've inked it. You can barely see it. Oh, that's got a pretty sheen when I tilt it sideways. Oh, yes. Can you see what's happening? That's pretty. All right, I'm going to do it this way because I feel like I can press. Look at that, folks. I'm sure if I put this is my foam that I put under my stamps sometimes, depending on what I'm doing and what I'm stamping on. Oh my gosh. So pretty. Okay, this one I am leaving alone now. I'm leaving it alone. Leave it alone. So that's 2 I have to leave alone. Now we have this one with the grid and the green. Sure. I think I'm gonna do the yellow again. So again, I'm going to the mustard seed and I'm going to wipe this down so my colors don't get mixed up on the ink pads. My white grid is now a pretty peacock blue. But that grid line doesn't show up. I can't feel it in the... And you see it bubbled up a little. This ink pad's a little wetter. Okay. I like it. They look like flowers. All right. Now there's still a little more white on there than I'd like. But I'm not going to do a 3rd color. So I'm just going to flip this over and put it where I need it. And you could do this to decorate the backgrounds for tags. A little more. You know, anything you wanted to do. You could even do this on your copy paper. And then scan it because you're not violating anything by scanning something you made out of colors, or we'd all be in trouble. At least as far as I know. Disclaimer, at least as far as I know. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one. And then we have the yellow one that I did with the long non-gridded side. Non-gridded side of the long one. So let's use the gridded side. See what happens. Okay, so what are we going to put with the yellow? I don't have a whole lot to choose from. Maybe we'll go with barn door. So this is barn door. Now, if you tap it, you come up with more of a less smooth color. If I did this, you get a smooth color. But I'm tapping it because I want the kind of mottled. This, remember, I smudged it. Oh, I'm crowding myself. Okay, let's see what happens. Looks like a sunset. right. And I have to tell you, it's fun to see what comes out, right? And I haven't been brave enough yet to play with my jelly plate. And I've had it for over a year. Sadly. All right, so this next one, I clean that off. And I do clean off my plates as soon as I use them. Okay, this next one I think I'm going to do in our ever favorite distress colors. So I'm going to use the walnut stain, which is quite dark. And can't even see it. I don't know if it'll show up. Might not be wet enough. There you go. There's a pattern. All right. Okay. So we did that. And then the other one I'm going to use is the vintage photo. I think for this one, I'm going to do it smoothly. And that's what I got. Okay. And then the other half of this, maybe I'll wet it. Okay, I wet the cardstock. Uh-oh, I got blue on there. Oh well, that's okay. Oop, turn over. And that's what I got with the wet side. That's what I got with the dry side. So all you can do is play around, have fun. Now I've wet it all, except this top part. And I'm going to just take the little block. And see, the wetter it is, the deeper the color, the more it's going to spread. I mean, if you guys have watched Tim Holtz do any of his demos, I'm sure he's done these. You can go back and pick up that wet stuff and put it down in other places. And you can still see the squares underneath that I did in the walnut stain. And then, let's see. It's like using your ink pads to, oops, to stamp with. But to get, you know, a flat surface. Okay, now that one's definitely going to have to dry. And I'm going to clean my blocks off. There's still ink on both sides. Okay, excuse me. Let me put this back, and I'm going to move my inks out of the way. Righty-o. Okay, Martha needs a drink. Excuse me. Thank you. Oh, I might need this out still. Well, we'll put it over there. Okay. So I'm going to take one of the dry ones. And that's a dry one. And if they curl up, like that's warping, you can set it under some heavy books and go back to it another time. Just make some more. That one's dry. And this one's dry. Okay. So let's play with this one first. What do I want to put on there? I think I'm going to use my butterfly stamp. That might be. This one should work. This one's quite open. And that'll work on there. So I'm just going to put this on my smallest block. Maybe. And, oh, I have too many things here. I'm starting to feel claustrophobic. Now, you can use StazOn or you can use archival ink. You just have to see which one works better. I, of course, like my archival ink. But I think my ink pad needs to be refreshed. And because this is a clear stamp, I'm going to put my pad underneath. Oh my, I'm getting too crowded. Too crowded. Put this away. Put this over here. Okay. So I'm going to put that right there. And I'm just going to hold it for a bit because I want that ink to soak in. Yeah, so my husband's out running errands. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. I got to remember I moved the camera in, so I don't need to, I need to look and see where I'm showing you stuff. Now these can be used as embellishments. You can cut them out, use them, you know, you could fussy cut them, use them as embellishments on things, or I could leave this as a long skinny tag and just put like 2 or 3 on each part. And I just cut it in half. So I'm going to start down here. Oops, that one didn't come out as well. See, I like to turn my stamp over and do it that way. It always comes out better. Okay, so I think I'm just going to make 2 tags out of that one. That's pretty. This one I'm going to let's see. Oops, I have a firefly somewhere. I love the blues and greens for fireflies, and I love fireflies. It's not in that set. This is a bow bunny set that I got at Tuesday morning before it closed, you know. It killed me. The other day I went to Hobby Lobby and bought this bow bunny because I wanted some swirls. And I paid $6. And I'm sure I paid like $2 something for these butterfly ones. Oh, doesn't say. I'm sure it was on the package at Tuesday morning. So, you know, it always hurts a little when you got to pay full price. Okay, let's see. Now I'm sure. All right, Martha, find the stamps. I'm sorry I wasn't more prepared, guys. Bear with me, please, while I find. There. So the ones that I got out of that stamping magazine last year, they are, let's see, I have 3 fireflies in here, but really only this one and this one's too big. This one's too solid, so it sort of doesn't show off the colors as well. And you can stamp the whole strip Or you can, you know, I mean, you have to decide what you're going to use it for. But again, if you just, you know, fussy cut, like I might fussy cut around this one and then maybe use an ink, like a black pen or something to fill it in, or put some jewels down the middle to take away from the fact that I didn't stamp it very well. Okay. I think I'm going to try it without the thing underneath it first. I'm going to do this one a little sideways, little off center, which is appropriate for me. I'm a little off center. Oh, look how pretty. Isn't that going to be pretty? Now, if I just cut this in a square or something and use that as an embellishment, I can use it on top of snippets. You can just put them in a... Now, if I do this one down here, it could be a little tag at the top. I can cut it here. You know, if I cut this one off and use it as a, you know, a decoration for a snippet or something, then I can use the next one for a skinny tag, right? So if I leave, do it the way you like to do it, Martha, upside down. So if I leave enough room at the top, I can do another skinny tag. That'll be pretty. And then I can do one more at the bottom as a fussy cut. I'll do them this way. Either a fussy cut or just a square. Yay! I love it. I love, oopsies, come back here, little guy. All right. And then we have this one, and I wanted to do flowers. Let me, there it is. Yeah, and you set it aside and then you can't find it again. Right? Okay, that goes in there. Sort of, kind of. Now, which flower do I want to do? I need a flower that's quite open and looks, will show the colors. Maybe this one, because it has, we'll try it. Put this over here so I can lose it again. I mean, find it again. We all know the first one's the right one. Oh, come back here. Okay. So I turn my stamp upside down and use my pad on the stamp instead of the other way around. I feel like it gets a more even coverage. Okay. So we'll do this the same way. We'll leave a little room at the top in case I want to make it a tag. Oh, that's pretty. All right. And now I've got tags with original backgrounds. Cut it off there, use that as the top. Should be real good right there. Right? And you can be proud because you made the background. And it's not hard if you have the ink and the stamps, the distress inks and the stamps. It's very simple. There we go. Cover my ink, clean off my stamp. All right. So far we have that one, and that one. I am happy. And they came out a lot better than some of my really modeled backgrounds. Although I love all the colors in this, I would have to find a different use for it. Maybe put it through my printer or something like that. Scan it and put it in my printer and use it as a background for something else. And this one's almost dry. I mean, it is dry, but all right, this one, what would I use for red and yellow? Kind of a fiery kinda. Let's see. I gotta put my flower back first. Okay. Let's see. I could do more flowers. This might be interesting. Okay, I haven't taken this one off before. It's really hard. Okay. Sorry for the strange sound effects. Okay. Alright. I don't know if I inked all that. Don't know if the ink got on there evenly. Oh, that looks better. All right. Let's see if I like this one or not. This one's questionable. I have to find something else I want to put on there. What would I like? It's not like I don't have enough stamps. I mean, good Lord. Oh, I've got this. Oops. Got this set of flowers. Maybe something off of there. That came out pretty. Okay, let's try one of these. Let's see. Let's try this one. It's quite open. And what I'm looking for is the more open. I guess if I had a plan at first, it would have helped. Plan? Who, me? I try so that it's not all a, you know, a weird show. Let's see. And of course, you could do these in a much bigger, like all one sheet could be the same, you know, color or colors. I like that one. I like it. Now what I'm going to try here may not work. Oh, keep your fingers crossed. Oh, what the heck. If it didn't work, I'd just make more, right? I like that. That'll be a pretty tag. Yes, it will, as Gail would say. Twill do. This one in this direction. There we go. Yeah. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, now this one, I was thinking, let me put my flowers back. My fleurs. Let's see, I have no idea where this one came from. I think there. And then, uh-oh. I want to put this flower back because if I don't, you know, it'll never find its way back home again. Yeah, I know. Then they go wayward. And I'm not really, I mean, I guess I am. I was going to say I'm not really anal about putting things back in order. But the only way I don't go like a little crazy trying to find them afterwards is to put them back in order. So I think it is important to me to do that. So this is the Tim Holtz set, the condemned set, I think it's called, or whatever. So I'm going to use a bunch of these. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll be honest, I think I'm going to take out the Stays On only because at this point it's very juicy and well inked. So I think what I'm going to do, let's see. That'll fit. So I'm just going to do different ones. This block here. plug my nose because I can't stand the smell. I know other people say they love it, but I do not. I haven't used this one before, this Field Notes, I don't think. So make sure it's inked up well the first time. And then what I'm going to do with this is I am probably just going to cut these out, and I could stick them on things. Like extra decoration on stuff. Okay. Oh, that didn't come out so well. See, the background's too dark, I think. Well, that was a fail, sadly. Well, then that background's too dark. And I think what I might do with it is I might just save it to put behind things in a collage. And honestly, this is on cardstock. You could do it on paper too. So it would be light enough to really use on cardstock, but that's really hard to see. So I'm not pleased with that at all. But this would be lovely torn out, just tear the edges down and use it in a collage, right? So see, you have to experiment. You never know what'll work. So obviously the lighter colors work best. Where am I at? 40 minutes. Okay, so that's what we did on the white cardstock. And then, oh my, I don't know why that happened. It's the ghosts. It's the ghosts, the spirits. And then I did play, of course, a little bit with a piece of fabric, a piece of muslin the other day. And some of it came out okay, and some of it didn't. Now, I did one, and I think I tossed it because I was so disgusted. But I did one like this, and I stamped it first, then did the color. Didn't work that way. And honestly, you really have to use one light color for your stamp to show up. Because as you see, if you do something too dark, the stamps don't show up very well. What I did with this was I just took, now I had a bunch of little things torn out of muslin. There they are. And we'll just finish up with this one because I'm running out of time. So Stazon goes back in there. And then all I did was, well, you can spray the fabric. I did not do it this way. So we'll play with it this way. That's quite wet. I am going to blot it. So it's not quite that. Okay. I did not do it this way the other day, so bear with me, please. And then I'm going to use this one. So I just smudged, that's a technical term, you know, the ink on there. And let it sit there because, see, it's going to soak into that wet fabric. See it spreading? Look at that. Woohoo! And that's not what I did with this one because you can see that one's a lot smoother background. Now this might be too dark for the ink to sit on, but we shall see. And this would have to be dried first. So let me do a couple. Now let me do it. How did I do it the other day? That's the problem. I don't remember. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And I think I just gave it a spritz on the block. Instead of spritzing the fabric. And you got to let it sit there, like I said, to soak in. I mean, it's fabric. And there's that one. That's, again, obviously not how that one came out. Experimenting. Just experimenting. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And I think what I did was I did this. So it's just like if you want to use these inks to like dye your fabric. You can dye sari silk this way. Or any cotton. I don't think it'll work on polyester. You can see my fingerprints. So there you go. 3 different patterns. All done that way. And then put my ink back on. Okay, I will edit this and fast forward through the heat gun. And we'll do this real quick. Okay, that wasn't too painful because they're very thin fabric and I did not super soak them, although this one got pretty wet, but it's still dry. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is probably use, oops, this stays on, and try this. This is a very simple flower stamp. So I'm going to, the paper's warped now. I think I'm going to, do this. There, I made a garden. That's pretty. I like that. Okay. And then I do find that the wooden stamps with a very clear, deep, this is a 2007 Stampin' Up! Stamp that I got in a set. They do leave a very nice impression that way. Oops, sorry guys. Not what I meant to do. Let's see, I don't have any more of my wooden stamps over here, so I'm going to have to find something else to use. Well, you know, my old fallback, because I love them, would be a butterfly. Haven't used this one before, I don't believe. Oops. Okay. All right. Okay. This one I'm going to do on this one. I keep thinking there's something under my paper, but it's just warped from being wet. So I hope everybody's doing well. Other than my sinuses, I am well myself. And I appreciate all the responses from the last couple of videos. You guys are really, really kind. I mean, very kind. Okay. Oh, that came out so pretty. So simple. Well, sorry about that. didn't turn my phone off because my husband's out and I got a stupid phone call. Okay, so I'll just edit these together. So that's that one. And then I'll do one more just on the butterfly because I'm about done here. And then we'll see what we accomplished. And I have one more thing to show you that I did last night, and I think they're successful. So I will show them to you. And if you want to, you can mention below. Very pretty. Whether you want me to do them on camera. I know we've all seen other people doing them. Of course, I got the idea from Gail, but I've seen one or two people out there not giving her credit for it and just doing it. But that's the way it goes in this world. Some people are very willing to give credit where it's due, and some people not so much. So anyway, I showed you these vases the other day, and so last night I worked on a bunch of them. So this base, these were the bases, then they became the outside of the paper clip, but these are just 2 by 4 1/4 strips that I have, and I folded them in half, and I'm using the very large paper clips. Oh, that reminds me, I got to call my husband and tell him to get paper clips from Staples. And then what I did was I just I had some small bits, I didn't save any out, of cardstock, and I cut them a little bit smaller, and I used them as the insides. So I've decorated both sides. Let me move you out. There we go. You weren't moved in that much. And this one will be a side one. And this one is just plain, so I can still further embellish it. And this one has one of my photographs on it. I just put some of this lace curtain material and a little bit of that underneath, one of my photographs on top of paper that I stuck on there. And this one is just plain. Now, I haven't inked around these yet. These are the ones I did in front of TV last night. What I did was I put all the, I had all these cut out and folded. I had all the insides, the little cardstock inside, cut out and folded. And then I just sat and punched and glued them together in front of the TV. And I just used leftover papers. These are this one and where'd it go? Well, I know I took it out. This one are decoupage napkins that I put on book page. And so this will be a side one. And this is an up and down one. So I thought they were fun. And they're the hidden paper clip kind. So this is the Tim Holtz wallpaper. I had a piece of that sitting there in my bag. And these are just paper clips, really, that I just decorated at other times using stamps and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I have several more to do. So if you want to see me do them on camera, I can. This would even make a really good outside strip for this. So if I use this as the inside strip, I would have to cut down this a little bit, and then this would just be the outside strip, and then make a really pretty background. And then I could embellish that with something else, like I did this one, or could put that on there. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Of course, that would cover up all the brown. But anyway, could put these on there. I could cut one of these out and put it on there. That fits perfectly over the top. See? So there's lots of uses for what we did today. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here. I love you all. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. I appreciate it. Please keep commenting and everything. My numbers are growing very slowly, but they've always grown very slowly. But I feel like my followers are very faithful, kind, and I love corresponding with you. And I hope this finds everybody safe and well. So take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time around. Don't know when I'll be back, but I'll be back. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Happy crafting. Bye.